Have you ever felt like no matter what you do, happiness is always just out of reach? Like you're stuck in a cycle of stress, anxiety, and overthinking, with no way to escape? You wake up each day with good intentions, but by the time your head hits the pillow, it feels like you've spent more time battling your own thoughts than actually living. If you've ever felt trapped in this mental prison, then you're not alone. The truth is, most of us are unknowingly choosing to suffer, and it's costing us our peace, our productivity, and our ability to experience true joy. But here's the catch: if you don't take control of your mind will control you. And that means more stress, more anxiety, more sleepless nights, and an overwhelming sense of being stuck in life. Without understanding how to break free from this cycle, you'll continue to chase happiness without ever finding it. However, there is a way out, and it's much simpler than you might think. By the end of this summary, you'll discover the exact steps to stop overthinking, master your emotions, and reclaim the inner peace and fulfillment you were born to experience. Each chapter will guide you through practical solutions that will help you transform your life, starting from the inside out. If you stay with me until the end, you'll learn how to free yourself from the mental habits that create suffering. Tap into a limitless source of creativity and inspiration. Make better decisions by trusting your intuition. Achieve your goals without stress or overwhelm. Experience the kind of happiness that doesn't depend on circumstances. Don't let another day slip away, controlled by negative thoughts and frustration. By applying the lessons in this summary, you can break free from the invisible chains of suffering and step into a life of joy, peace, and unstoppable momentum. The choice is simple: continue living the way you always have, or unlock the path to the life you've always wanted. The journey starts now. Are you ready to find true happiness? Let's dive in. Welcome to the book summary of Don't Believe Everything You Think: Why Your Thinking is the Beginning and End of Suffering by Joseph Nguyen. This summary is written and narrated by JANKY. Chapter 1: How to Discover the Root Cause of Your Suffering. The problem: pain is inevitable, but why do we suffer? That's the real issue. It's not about avoiding pain, that's impossible, but how we choose to respond to it. The solution: recognize that while pain is outside your control, your reaction is not. Rather than focusing on trying to eliminate all pain, shift your focus to understanding how your mind works. Practices like waking up early, meditating, and exercising can help ease the weight of suffering, but the true key is in your mindset. By changing how you respond, you alleviate suffering. Start by observing your thoughts without judgment. Here's how to do it. Practice self-awareness by catching yourself in moments of suffering. Ask yourself, what's causing this? Is it the event or my reaction? Incorporate daily habits like meditation or journaling to better understand your thought patterns. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, pause and take 3 deep breaths, focusing on calming your reaction instead of changing the situation. Chapter 2: What Causes Suffering? Understanding the Mind. The problem: why do we suffer if we all experience the same world? The issue is that we don't live in reality, we live in our thoughts about reality. Everyone sees the world through their own lens, which shapes how they feel. The solution: learn that events are neutral. Your thoughts, not the events themselves, are what generate your emotions. The key to ending suffering is to stop overthinking and simply experience life without attaching meaning. Next time something happens, instead of reacting immediately, pause and recognize that your thoughts are creating your feelings. This awareness is the first step to reducing suffering. Here's how to do it. When something triggers a strong emotion, pause and say to yourself, "This is neutral. My reaction is what's creating my feelings." Practice detaching from your thoughts by labeling them. This is just a thought, not reality. Engage in mindfulness exercises, such as focusing on your senses, to stay in the present moment rather than lost in thought. Chapter 3: Why do we overthink? The problem: if thinking leads to suffering, why do we do it? Our brains are wired for survival, constantly on the lookout for threats. But in today's world, this survival mechanism often creates anxiety and frustration over minor issues. The solution: understand that your mind is doing its job, but it's overreacting to the world. By redirecting your focus away from stressful thoughts, you can train yourself to let go. The next time you catch yourself overthinking, simply notice it and shift your attention to something more productive or enjoyable. Here's how to do it. When overthinking, consciously shift your focus to an engaging task like reading, exercising, or a hobby you enjoy. Use the 5-second rule. When you catch yourself thinking too much, count down from 5 and immediately refocus your attention on something neutral or positive. Practice gratitude daily by listing 3 things you are thankful for to redirect your focus away from negative thoughts. Chapter 4: What's the difference between thoughts and thinking? The problem: you might think all thoughts are bad, but that's not true. The issue is with thinking, the act of dwelling on thoughts. This is where suffering takes root. The solution: accept that thoughts are natural and can't be controlled, but thinking is optional. When a negative thought arises, let it pass instead of engaging with it. By not judging your thoughts, you stop the cycle of suffering before it starts. Thoughts create, but overthinking destroys. Here's how to do it. Notice when a thought enters your mind, but instead of engaging with it, say, "This is just a thought," and let it pass. Visualize your thoughts like clouds drifting by in the sky. They come and go, and you don't have to hold on to them. Let them float past without judgment. When a thought triggers an emotion, pause and take a step back. Ask yourself, is this thought helpful or harmful? If it's harmful, let it go. Practice mindfulness by focusing on physical sensations, e.g., your breathing, to get out of your head and into the present moment. Chapter 5: How to Avoid the Trap of Thinking Positively. The problem: shouldn't we just think positive thoughts? While positive thinking seems like a solution, it still keeps you in the cycle of thinking, which inevitably leads to suffering. Both positive and negative thoughts take you away from your natural state of peace and joy. The solution: understand that your natural state is one of joy, love, and fulfillment. When you're thinking, even positively, you're blocking yourself from that state. The key isn't to replace negative thoughts with positive ones, it's to reduce the time you spend thinking altogether. Here's how to do it. When you catch yourself in a negative thought pattern, don't try to force positivity. Instead, observe the thought and allow it to pass. Engage in activities that naturally bring you joy without thinking, whether it's painting, playing an instrument, or going for a walk. Focus on being present in the moment rather than trying to force positive thinking. Chapter 6: How to Understand the 3 Principles Behind the Human Experience. The problem: why do we feel the way we do? Our experience of life is created by 3 principles: universal mind, consciousness, and thought. If we don't understand these principles, we remain disconnected from our natural state of joy and peace. The solution: recognize that universal mind is the intelligence behind life. It's what creates thoughts and guides us if we stay connected to it. Consciousness is what makes us aware of our thoughts, and thought is the tool through which we experience the world. The more we engage with thinking, the more disconnected we become from universal mind, leading to suffering. Here's how to do it. Spend time in nature or in quiet reflection to reconnect with the universal mind. Let your mind settle and clear naturally. Practice being aware of your thoughts, consciousness, without judgment. Notice them, but don't engage. Remind yourself that thoughts come from the universal mind. They are neutral until you assign them meaning. Chapter 7: How to Stop Thinking So Much. The problem: if thinking leads to suffering, how do we stop? The challenge is that thinking can't be completely eliminated, but we can reduce it and learn to let thoughts flow without holding on to them. The solution: the key is to allow thoughts to come and go naturally. Don't fight them. Instead, give your mind space to settle, and gradually, you'll think less and experience more peace. A calm, clear mind is your natural state. When you stop overthinking, you'll return to it. Here's how to do it. Practice meditation daily to train your mind to observe thoughts without engaging. Even 5 minutes can make a difference. When a thought arises, simply notice it and bring your attention back to your breath or a focal point. Don't fight the thought, just let it pass. Allow time for quiet reflection throughout your day. Pause between tasks to reset and create space for clarity. Chapter 8: How to Thrive Without Thinking. The problem: can we really perform well without thinking? Society often tells us that thinking is essential for success, but the truth is that our best performances happen when we're in a state of flow, free of thought. The solution: flow is when you lose yourself in an activity you love and no thoughts distract you. This is the state where creativity and performance peak. By practicing non-thinking, you allow yourself to enter this flow state more often, where you can achieve more without mental resistance. Here's how to do it. Identify activities where you naturally experience flow, such as sports, art, or problem solving. Do more of these activities to train your mind to work without overthinking. Before engaging in a task, take a few deep breaths and focus on being fully present. Let go of any distracting thoughts and focus entirely on the task at hand. Use timers or structured breaks during work to give your mind space to enter a flow state without interruptions. Chapter 9: How to Set Goals from a Place of Inspiration. The problem: how do we achieve our goals without thinking? The issue isn't having goals, it's whether they come from inspiration or desperation. Goals driven by desperation lead to stress and emptiness, while goals fueled by inspiration make us feel excited and alive. The solution: learn to distinguish between goals that come from inspiration versus those rooted in fear or scarcity. When your goals are inspired, they feel light, joyful, and motivating. When they're driven by desperation, they feel heavy and burdensome. Align yourself with goals that make you feel energized, not depleted. Here's how to do it. Reflect on your goals and ask yourself, do these excite and uplift me, or do they feel like obligations? Adjust them accordingly. If a goal feels heavy or stressful, let it go or reframe it in a way that feels inspired. Ask yourself, what would bring me joy in pursuing this? Set goals from a place of abundance by focusing on the process, not just the outcome. Choose goals that align with your passions. Chapter 10: How to Create with Unconditional Love. The problem: why do we sometimes feel unfulfilled in our work or relationships? Often, it's because we are creating or loving conditionally, doing things to get something in return. The solution: the key is to shift from conditional to unconditional love and creation. Unconditional love means loving without reasons, and unconditional creation means doing something for its own sake, not for external rewards. When you create from this place, the process itself becomes fulfilling and your work feels revolutionary. Here's how to do it. Engage in a creative activity purely for the love of it, whether it's art, writing, or a hobby. Focus on the joy of creation, not the result. In relationships, practice loving without expecting anything in return. Notice the difference in how you feel. Ask yourself, am I doing this because I love it or because I want something in return? If it's the latter, shift your focus back to the love of the process. Chapter 11: How to Maintain Peace, Joy, Love, and Fulfillment. The problem: how can we sustain peace, joy, and fulfillment once we've experienced them? It's easy to fall back into patterns of negative thinking, worry, and anxiety, especially when life gets tough. Maintaining this state requires practice and awareness. The solution: to keep experiencing peace and joy, we must practice non-thinking and focus on the present moment. The mind tends to slip back into worry and fear, but with awareness and tools like mindfulness or a morning routine, we can stay grounded in our natural state of joy. Here's how to do it. Develop a morning routine, an activation ritual that sets the tone for your day. This could include meditation, journaling, or exercise, anything that helps you start the day mindfully. Throughout the day, take mindful pauses to reset and return to the present moment. Simply focus on your breath or your surroundings for a few seconds. When negative emotions arise, don't resist them. Recognize that they come from thoughts and let those thoughts pass without engaging. Chapter 12: How to See Life Beyond Good or Bad. The problem: we tend to label events and decisions as good or bad, which shapes how we feel about them. But these labels are subjective and based on our thinking. This leads to emotional highs and lows that create unnecessary suffering. The solution: instead of seeing life through the lens of good or bad, focus on the facts. Events themselves are neutral, it's our interpretation of them that creates emotions. By removing judgment and accepting events as they are, we free ourselves from emotional roller coasters. Here's how to do it. Practice observing situations without assigning labels like good or bad. Simply see them for what they are, without judgment. When you face a challenge, ask yourself, what are the facts? Focus on the objective reality, not your emotional reaction. When you notice yourself judging an event, pause and remind yourself that the event is neutral. Your thoughts are what give it meaning. Chapter 13: How to Trust Your Intuition. The problem: when faced with important decisions, we often rely on overthinking to find the right answer. But this leads to anxiety and confusion. In reality, we usually already know what to do. Our intuition guides us, but fear holds us back from trusting it. The solution: your intuition is like an inner GPS. It's your inner wisdom guiding you through life. The problem isn't figuring out what to do, it's having the courage to follow your intuition. By quieting the mind and listening to your gut feeling, you'll find that you often know the best path to take. Here's how to do it. Practice tuning into your intuition by taking moments of stillness throughout the day. In these quiet moments, ask yourself, what feels right? And listen to your gut response. Before making a decision, take a few deep breaths and ask yourself what your intuition says. Avoid overanalyzing, just listen to your first instinct. If fear arises, recognize that it's your mind trying to protect you. Acknowledge the fear, but follow your intuition anyway. Chapter 14: How to Live in Flow and Follow Your Intuition. The problem: we often get caught up in overthinking, which disconnects us from the present moment and from our intuition. Thinking keeps us trapped in the past or future, which are both illusions, and prevents us from experiencing flow, the state where we feel connected to everything. The solution: to live in flow and follow your intuition, you must stay present. Let go of thoughts about the past or future and focus on what's happening right now. Flow is the state where you lose track of time and space, and it's where you perform at your best. Trust your intuition to guide you through life without the need for excessive thinking. Here's how to do it. Practice mindfulness by focusing fully on the present moment, whether you're eating, working, or spending time with loved ones. When you feel overwhelmed by thoughts of the past or future, gently bring your focus back to what's happening now. Notice your surroundings, your breath, or the task at hand. Trust that your intuition will guide you in the right direction. When you feel a gut instinct, follow it without questioning. Chapter 15: How to Create Space for New Ideas and Miracles. The problem: our minds are often cluttered with too many thoughts, which leaves little room for new ideas or inspiration. When we overthink, we block the flow of creativity and miracles in our lives. The solution: to create space for new ideas, we must quiet the mind and let go of excessive thinking. By giving our minds time to rest, we open ourselves up to inspiration and the possibility of miracles. Question your thinking and allow yourself time to reflect without overanalyzing. Here's how to do it. Take regular breaks throughout the day to quiet your mind. Spend a few minutes in silence, allowing your thoughts to settle naturally. Question your thinking by asking, is this thought helpful or necessary? If it's not, let it go. Engage in activities that calm the mind, such as meditation, walking in nature, or practicing a hobby, to create space for new ideas to emerge. Chapter 16: How to Overcome Obstacles When Practicing Non-Thinking. The problem: as you start practicing non-thinking, you may encounter obstacles. It can feel unfamiliar or even uncomfortable to experience peace and serenity after a lifetime of overthinking. The mind may try to pull you back into old habits of worry and stress. The solution: recognize that non-thinking is your natural state. The more you practice it, the easier it becomes. Don't be discouraged by initial discomfort or setbacks. Over time, you'll notice that you're just as productive, if not more, when you let go of overthinking and allow your mind to rest. Here's how to do it. When discomfort arises, remind yourself that peace and serenity are your natural states. You don't need to do anything to earn them. If you catch yourself overthinking, gently bring your focus back to the present moment. Use your breath or your surroundings as an anchor. Be patient with yourself. Non-thinking is a practice, and it gets easier the more you do it. Don't expect instant perfection. Chapter 17: How to Apply Non-Thinking to Everyday Life. The problem: now that you've learned about non-thinking, how do you apply it in your daily life? Life will inevitably get tough, and it's easy to fall back into old patterns of overthinking and stress. How do you maintain non-thinking during challenging times? The solution: the key is to remember that the answer isn't to add more thinking, it's to subtract. When life gets hard, resist the urge to analyze and fix everything with your mind. Instead, return to non-thinking. Let go of mental clutter and trust that clarity and peace will naturally follow. Here's how to do it. When challenges arise, pause before reacting. Take a few deep breaths and allow your mind to settle before making any decisions. Practice non-thinking by simplifying your life. Focus on what truly matters and let go of unnecessary worries or distractions. Trust that the state of non-thinking is your natural state. When you feel overwhelmed, remind yourself that peace and clarity are always just a moment away. Final takeaway. At the heart of all suffering lies a simple truth: we think too much. Overthinking is what keeps us trapped in cycles of stress, anxiety, and unhappiness. The more we try to control our thoughts, the further we drift from the natural state of joy and fulfillment we're meant to experience. But the solution is as profound as it is simple: stop thinking. By letting go of the need to constantly analyze, judge, and control everything, we can reconnect with our true selves, where happiness, peace, and love naturally reside. This doesn't mean giving up your ambitions, dreams, or goals. It means approaching them from a place of inspiration and flow rather than stress and desperation. It means trusting your intuition to guide you rather than relying on overthinking to make decisions. When you master the art of non-thinking, you'll not only experience less suffering, but you'll also find yourself more creative, productive, and connected to the present moment. The path to a meaningful and fulfilling life isn't found by doing more, thinking more, or chasing external success. It's found by subtracting the noise in your mind, embracing the present, and allowing your inner wisdom to lead the way. The key to your happiness and success is already within you, waiting for you to let go of overthinking and step into the flow of life. About the author. Joseph Nguyen is an author, teacher, and public speaker who focuses on the spiritual path to self-healing and personal growth. He is known for blending profound wisdom with practical guidance to help people break free from mental and emotional suffering. His previous works include Beyond Thoughts, a poetry collection delving into the causes of emotional pain, and The Art of Creating, which explores the essence of creativity. His best-selling book, Don't Believe Everything You Think, has been translated into over 30 languages, helping readers worldwide transform their lives. We've reached the end of this audiobook summary. Created by JANKY Mind, your reliable guide to learning and growth. Please like, comment, and share your insights on the book. Thank you for listening.